Good morning, everybody. This is Johnny Seville, and this is your stock setups for alerts for today, the 13th of October. Just looking at the way the market's shaping up, futures are down quite sharply overnight as the open range was broken, obviously more to the downside on Tuesday. Great action as we saw that negative bias set by open range back on Monday, October 3rd. You can see the open range was a high of 2164.41. The low was 2154. We broke that open range negatively the following 2 days, telling us that there would be negative bias in the market. You can see that that's occurring. My comment in the executive summary last week was that we would see a pennant formation breakdown to this 2111 area, and we may have some support at 2120. Today we should see how true that is, and if we are really starting to see a bit of a top in this market. Certainly a lot of the stocks are indicating so, and we've seen some amazing performance across the board on a lot of those shorts. So for those of you in those, awesome. For those of you looking mostly at the long side of the market, I'd be cautious at this point, and just wait for things to kind of stabilize and see where things are going. I want to comment that anyone looking at gold at the moment, gold is starting to possibly form a bottom with a scallop formation or a fallen angel formation here as we round the bottom. So that's actually looking quite exciting, and so things like Heckler may stand to do quite well today. For those of you holding into that, we'll just have to wait and see. But at the moment, looking good. And if Heckler's able to rally here, it may have a good shot of breaking its downward channel and starting a rally back up towards that 7,750 mark. So in terms of the long side, watching closely looking closely at gold. In terms of another long, I would again look at UVXY here. UVXY has started to form a really good base. Again, we're at 1691 on UVXY, and I would look at that as a kind of a longer term way to you can see that kind of fallen angel type of way that it's building here. The moving average is above at 1727, so I would look for a break above 1737 as a entry criteria, and I would be looking at a target of 25. So a break below above 1730. My stop criteria would be 1463, and that's where I would take some first profits. But most, again, as we've been talking about, I would just raise the stop loss there and let the profits ride. So, of course, the other way you could do that, if you want some ultra leverage, would be doing something like buying calls on the UVXY, which is basically how you can get the absolute most amount of juice out of the potential trade. So for that, you for example look at you could look at January calls or December calls. Just one moment. So yeah, so looking at for example the $20 January calls on UVXY, they're $4.34. So that's what I would look there. January $20 calls at $4.34. Now, one other one that we were looking at quite a while back, if you recall, in Trading Room ages ago, and one that's been on my watch list was AXTA, Axalta Coating Systems. It's in specialty chemicals. It's had massive insider selling. It appears to be in a downward head and shoulder pattern. It's just breaking through $26. So if this one breaks the low of 25.87, this looks like a continuation of the head and shoulders. We have to worry a little bit about this candle, so we may get a bit of a bounce here, but it looks like it's worth a shot, I think. So a break below this 25.87 would be an entry criteria for me. I'd look at a stop criteria, break at 25.87, stop criteria at 26.63, which is just where that gap down occurred from, and I would look at the target, a first target of 24.27, but this again could go quite a fair bit lower. And if we have a look at the weekly chart, you can see that if we break through this area, then we could have a fairly nice drop down all the way into these lower levels here around $21, and that's ultimately what I'd be looking for as a lot longer term play. As such, I look at the $26 January puts. They're currently $1.27. And also for those of you in the big one, Rambus doing awesome, now down from $13.40 to $11.80. So in terms of a first target, Rambus is now at its first target for a profit taking. So I would enjoy some profit there, and I'm holding the puts in this myself. And I would be, but if it now breaks down through this support level, I'd be looking at the puts again. If we break down kind of below that 1160, then Rambus has a lot longer to go, which is quite exciting. So that's something to keep on your radar. But certainly for all of you Big One members, that first trade is now at its first target. So I would certainly be wanting to capture a bunch of those fairly significant profits on that first leg down. But now we're at support. We will see where we go from here. But again, looking into January, for example, I mean, if we break down below this level, $12 puts January 2017 are only 84 cents, to give an example. So that's what I'd be looking at. Okay, so that is your executive summary for today, and we got some again. If you are last chance to take part in trialing the gold membership, it is only $9 for a full month of these alerts. It is acornwealthcorp.com/gold. That's acornwealthcorp.com/gold. You get a month of these alerts, daily reports, of course, as you know, and the trading room Tuesday, Thursday. So for those of you considering the gold membership, last chance to give that a trial as we gear up into what should be an amazing few months ahead. Hope to see you all soon. Happy trading, everyone. Take care.